Hey, what's going on, guys? Ah, man, I'll tell you what. I figured I'd make a video right now because it doesn't get any more real than this. This is just where I'm at. I got to my house, and usually I'm pretty inspired to want to get going and start because today I'm supposed to be making my book promo video. And first thing I did is I walked to my house and started eating some chicken, watching videos on my phone. But I haven't gotten shit started yet. And I figured this would be a perfect opportunity to talk about how you get over that kind of crap. As soon as this video is done, I'm going to go upstairs and I'm going to start getting down to business and working. But what I wanted to address is, you know, staying self motivated is not an easy task. If you don't know why the hell you're doing what you're doing, and if you don't have, as they say, a strong enough why, you're gonna fall off track. You're not gonna stick with it. And I know this because I've been there several times. There's been a lot of things I've started and haven't finished because in the end it wasn't really that worth it. It wasn't worth it for me to wake up early or not go to sleep, or I'm sorry, not go to sleep. Like not lose sleep over. It just wasn't worth it enough, and that's kind of how you know whether or not you're on the correct path or not. Because if you're not willing to lose sleep over it, and if you're not willing to do things that you're uncomfortable with, you're not going to succeed. And that's just the bottom line. But it's not a bad thing because it doesn't mean, well, let's put it to you this way. If you're that upset about doing these things, then maybe that's not the thing you really should be doing anyways. I mean, sometimes it's just a learning curve, and maybe the thing you're trying to do is just a little bit out of your comfort zone, but that little aspect of it you might hate, but you don't hate your overall goal, and whatever. But so right now, this is my thought process. Um, you have to. Sometimes there's situations where it's just like you absolutely feel like you don't want to get up, you don't want to do anything. You're on the couch, or you get home and you just want to go to bed, or maybe you're not even tired, but you just don't want to get to a project. You want to keep delaying and delaying it. Here's a couple of ways that I've gotten around that. And it's super simple, right? And it's like stupid simple, but it works. And the whole foundation behind this is that you're building slow momentum, like you're doing little baby steps. Maybe I should adjust the camera. I feel like I have to slouch down, but I'm not able to keep this video on me. I don't have my tripod here, so you gotta bear with me for a second. Maybe I'll do this. Yeah, I shouldn't have to slouch for this. Fuck, man. I don't know. I guess I'll just hold this shit. Who knows? Um, See, I should have prepared beforehand. I lost track of thought. Okay. Super, super simple, stupid things, right? And that is that you gotta edge your way to what you're gonna do. So what do I mean? Well, there was one time where I was just sitting on the couch, and I didn't want to get up and do like the most stupidest thing in the world, like cleaning the bunny cage or something like that. I don't remember what it was specifically, but for me to be able to do that, I'm completely at rest, right? An object at rest will stay at rest, kind of ordeal. And an object in motion will stay in motion unless acted upon by another force. Um, well, what's the easiest way to go about something in that situation where something's absolutely still? Well, small and subtle change. So I shit you not, like this is what I would do. I would say, okay, I need to slowly make my way into getting this cage cleaned. So before I can do that, I have to get up. But getting up was out of the question. I don't want to get up. And even though you can use willpower and just blast your way through, it doesn't always work because sometimes, you know, willpower is a limited resource. I should probably make a video on that specifically. I do talk about that in my book, but another thought that I was having is, a lot of the things that I write about in there, I could really have an opportunity for writing them in, or having them in a video form. That could probably be very helpful, so I'd probably do that in the future. But you have a limited amount of willpower, so you can't always rely off of that specifically. But if you do things that are so ridiculously easy, and you do enough of them, you start doing things that are not so easy by themselves. You know what I mean? Like, I don't remember who it was to quote, but they said something to summarize. This is an actual quote. You can accomplish anything if you divide it into enough steps, right? So, as in the example, if I want to get up, I move my hand. I move my hand onto my leg, getting ready to move. I move my other hand onto my leg. I scooch a little bit down the couch. I lay my body because it's a little hard to get up, so I have to kind of lay down to get up ordeal. I wedge myself like the opposite of like army crawling, like I don't know, you're scooching your butt or something. It's like a long surface. I don't know if it'll do it justice by showing you, but you kind of have to do like a little butt scooch kind of thing. I don't know. It's a weird setup. Um, put one leg on the floor. Put a little bit of weight on that leg. Put the other leg on the floor. Put a little bit of weight on that leg. Kind of lean forward until you're in like a half seated, half crouching position, and just stand up a little bit. And then once you take a couple steps, you already have enough momentum where it's just like, okay, well, if I just walk over here to this doorway or I just walk over here to this, and before you know it, you're doing what you don't want to do. Because when I do recall Tony Robbins talking about stuff like this before, when it comes to rituals and routines and stuff, there's a lot of stuff that you can do before you get ready to do something. And I've tried to implement some of these, like before making a video, and I don't remember this half the time, but, one good thing you could do is like little vocal exercises or something, just to like uh, make you feel more alive or something. I don't really know how to say that, but like buzzing your lips and stuff, like la 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 mum 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 mum, and then your classic sirens where you sound silly as hell, like the dog's freaking out. Like, what the hell are you doing? But these are like warm up things, and those by themselves aren't doing anything incredible, but what they are doing is they're building a little bit of momentum in your favor. And I swear it's the silliest thing in the world, but when you do just a couple of those things, you don't feel as dreadful about doing whatever the hell it is you want to do. I mean, I wouldn't say doing sirens with your voice is going to necessarily help you do something more physical where you have to walk to somewhere and do that, or hard labor. But, it's these little things that help you just wake up and kind of get a hold of yourself. In neuro-linguistic programming, it could represent what they would call a state break. You get into a certain state where when you're feeling like you don't want to do something, that's not necessarily you. That's just the state of mind that you're in at the time. So, I shit you not, like here, I would tell people to do this, and this 100% works. I don't have to really do this specifically anymore, but if I get really stressed out or I get really crazy, I'll just do this real quick to get back into it, right? So you just got to move your body a little bit, and to do a state break would be anything that you weren't currently doing. So if I was sitting down, I edge my way off of there and I just move around a little bit. So people stretch around like that. But you can get real crazy where you just and after, you feel ridiculous. What the dog's freaking out over here again. But you feel, I don't feel ridiculous because I just do dumb shit all day anyways. But you get your livelihood back. You know what I mean? You started off by not being in motion, then you are in motion. Like, hell, I'm a little bit warm now. Maybe I want to take out the damn hoodie because I'm starting to build energy up. And it sounds super, super, super stupid, but it works super stupidly. Um, I guess the only way I could say it is just try this shit. Devise something in so many stupid steps that you can't fail because by the time you're halfway done, you've just kind of committed. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to do some stuff because you don't want to commit to it. But after a certain while, just based around our psychology, we are going to commit to something once we've invested enough time into it. And all you got to do is trick yourself into getting yourself to take the first couple steps. That's the bottom line. I wrote a couple notes here just in case, because I did want to say something very specifically here. Okay, so I did touch up on this at the very beginning of the video, but when you get into these states where you don't want to do anything, it's usually because you don't remember the reason why you're doing it to begin with. Maybe you forgot. Or maybe you haven't established why you want to do something specifically. I talk about this in my book, but I'll talk about it right now. My mom used to run a bingo shop, and it was a store in a bingo shop where she sold like little dabbers and stuff that you use when people go play bingo to put on a piece of paper. I mean, I don't really play bingo, but that's just the thing they do. But I would always go there, and the energy there was so discouraging. There was a lot of times where people were just aching in pain. The majority of the people there were older, and I was always thinking that even though I didn't find bingo to be particularly fun, those people who went there were going there because they wanted to have a good time, I guess, or maybe they were just being dragged out of their house. But the impression it left on me when I was a kid was that this was a miserable experience. And that was only my perception. I'm not really too sure if I can rely off of that account as being too accurate. But I do remember that it left such an impression on me that who I wanted to be was kind of established, or who I didn't want to be at least. A lot of the people who were there would always complain. They'd complain because they were in pain and because all the things in their life were going bad, and they resorted to, I guess, gambling. I don't know if you'd call it that. It may be a sadistic approach of looking at it. But these people didn't seem like they were happy. And I was just thinking, well, why is that? I mean, I guess you could say maybe they weren't grateful for what they had, because when you have less than, especially than you did before, maybe it's hard to see what to be grateful about. But that strong image of remembering all the people in the bingo hall, or as then I used to call them, like the Walking Dead, because just like they were almost motionless. They would move around, but their energy levels were so low. It was very discouraging as a little kid. And just thinking about that, discouraging here as an adult, because that's not the kind of person who I want to end up to be. You know, I believe so strongly that I want to have um, a vibrant future, something full of hope and success. Every single time when the temptation of just sitting down or I guess relaxing or dicking around, watching videos, doing non meaningful things, I just think back at those representation of those people. And I remember, like, no, when you don't do anything, that's how you end up. You end up not happy. You end up decrepit. You don't take care of your body, it falls apart. So that left an impression on me where I wanted to take care of myself, both physically, um, like as in like staying thin and so forth, doing a little bit of workout, not being too stagnant, sedentary, and also having a healthy mindset. I don't. I may get discouraged, but I don't get really upset. Like I don't have. I don't know. I'm just not a gloomy guy. And there's a lot of reason for that, and I'd like to make videos about that too. Like, there's a very specific reason why I don't get discouraged about a lot of things. I mean, even though I can get discouraged, I don't about a lot of stuff because it's like a method of just like how I see the world. But it's not just I randomly started feeling a certain way or just because I had an image in my head from like a bingo hall or something. Over time I built strategies. So if I did get to the point where I had the inkling of, I don't know, anger or a discouragement, I guess is the best way to say it, yeah, then I would redirect my attention and start asking myself fundamental questions and get back to my real self, That's what it is. It's about getting back to your real self. Even just talking about this right now, like that's significantly helping me because it puts me back into that state of mind. And these are the kind of videos that I would really want to talk about, make more things that could possibly help because it's not fun to know that you need to get something done, but don't because you just can't seem to get yourself off the couch. But, you know, if you're just sitting around, then you're going to continue sitting around. But once you start moving, you're going to continue moving. So, just keep that in mind. I hope that this is going to be helpful for a lot of people. Definitely a little bit more thought provoking than me driving around in a car and just, making a ruckus, dodging traffic and stuff like that. But I wanted to share that with you, and I hope you the best. If you find any value with this video, if you enjoy anything that I'm providing here, please hit the like button and subscribe if you feel so inclined. And hopefully I'll be able to make more videos like this sometime in the near future. Take care, guys.